Verily, my name is Pa Fiera, and this is the Postmortem for my Let's Play of Pony Fantasy VI Cutie Mark Crusader Challenge! Yay! I figured it'd be nice, now that everything's said and done, to take a step back, look over this playthrough, and wrap up with some closing thoughts. First off, how was Pony Fantasy VI in general? Well, over on my FimFiction blog, I left some impressions way back in December, but in short, I really liked this mod. There's a lot of nice sprite work, both in the characters and the enemies, that help this to really feel like a realized hybrid world. Although initially, the art style of the ponies clashes with what we'd expect from vanilla FF6, so there's a brief adjustment period. The dialogue changes, for the most part, really help this to feel like these are the same ponies we know, magically thrown into the roles of the returners, although some of the unchanged bits really do stand out. The patch includes a nice bump to difficulty. Some of it is balancing, whether to eliminate cheap tactics or just to accommodate the playstyle adjustments of the main cast. There were some fairly subtle tweaks to earlier bosses, but this was most strongly felt in the endgame, coupled with the general restrictions on magic. However, there weren't very many elements that were changed just for the sake of being different. You could perhaps argue that this was a deliberate choice to make the patch feel very strongly like Final Fantasy VI just with ponies, and there's nothing wrong with that. Still, those minor touches are quite refreshing and welcome, and they helped the game to really feel like its own unique entry, so I wouldn't have objected to seeing more of them. Probably one of the biggest changes was to the main cast. Equipment was switched around to fit the character designs better, like giving the fixed dice to Pinkie, or the gala dress, i.e. the Minerva, to the main six. The biggest strength was in making each pony feel racially aligned. For the most part, unicorns and alicorns had magic plus 1 ability, Pegasi had soar plus 1 ability, while Earth ponies had 2 abilities. Not only did this mesh FF6's battle system nicely with MLP's lore, but it also helped to create a stronger sense of class-based characters, which I have a ton of nostalgia for. Naturally, having one of each race helped my team in feeling well-rounded. What then of my Cutie Mark Crusader Challenge? Well, this will sound obvious in hindsight on account of the fact that we didn't get our full party together until part 13, but the world of balance was heavily slanted towards solo Apple Bloom. I initially realized that Apple Bloom would be present for almost all of the world of balance, and thus the stall points would be few and far between, but I neglected to realize how not present the other two Fillies are for the majority of this section. Now sure, the world of Ruin was largely done with my full party, but when over half the videos featured an incomplete party, this did impact my enjoyment a bit. The actual challenge portion was also a bit lax for someone who's already played the game in several challenging manners, like single character, natural magic only, even no equipment. A well-rounded 3-Filly party, by comparison, was harder than an unrestricted game, sure, but somewhat light on challenge. The hardest portions were when I was forced to use only a single Filly, or the difficulty-boosted bosses that were expecting more than one caster. It also probably didn't help that I was a touch over-leveled. Now, there was a level check with Neishi's Discord fight due to his powerful Drain spell, so I did have to reach a certain level to get past that. However, after spending so long in a solo group and raking in bonus EXP, then taking this high average into the world of Ruin, I felt constantly a few levels over content for a large chunk of the game. Admittedly, I'm really bad at balancing this, or in willfully running away from random encounters to keep my levels low. All this said, this was probably the second most fun I've had in a challenge playthrough, and that's largely attributed to flavor and fun. I've never done such a themed playthrough as with this CMC challenge, and this alone made the game feel drastically different from vanilla FF6, and even significantly different from my playthroughs of the Pony Fantasy VI patch itself, as these 3 little Fillies got to run around and be the heroes all by themselves. I'm really glad I came up with this theme when I decided upon doing a Let's Play, and in the future I'll definitely have to keep an eye out for these themed challenge ideas. Yeah. That's nice. So, let's break down the Fillies themselves. Naturally, we'll start with AB, since she was with us for nearly the entire game. I mentioned that Locke was possibly my favorite Final Fantasy character ever, and I've played the game as him solo before, so the world of balance portion felt natural to me. Now, while I understand there were multiple reasons for doing so, I still feel that the addition of the Tools command overpowered Apple Bloom by a fair amount. Granted, Locke is a slow bloomer, and Apple Bloom is not a unicorn, so some people might have felt miffed by being forced to use an underpowered, fight-based character for much of the game. But as it stands now, Apple Bloom could rely on potent, defense-ignoring tools for the world of balance, as well as the powerful free healing of the medikit, then switch to powerful melee in the world of Rune, while still keeping tools as a safe backup/utility option. It just felt like a bit much to me. Granted, it's hard to complain about the results. She proved to be a strong lead character for the party and was generally reliable with her damage output. If I had one complaint, by the very end of the game her damage potential started to lag behind the others with their Wonderbolt badge and big crown thingy respectively, but this could very well be the case in vanilla as well. Then again, at higher levels, her max HP allowed the Valor Knife to completely dominate. I don't think I have anything bad to say about Scootaloo. She was largely unchanged from vanilla, a powerful dancer in the world of balance, and an even stronger Dragoon in the world of ruin. Dances were more cleanly delineated by element, though as in vanilla, some were clearly stronger than others. Soar was a racial ability rather than a relic slot, meaning that along with the Wonderbolt badge, I could equip options like the Power Grip, Blue Ribbon, or Tom the Rock. I was able to grab the Wonderbolt badge and White Lance very early in the world of Ruin, but considering the order that I ran the dungeons in, I didn't end up getting them that much earlier than normal. All of this did come at a price, as Scoots was decidedly one-dimensional. Vanilla Maul could serve as an excellent backup mage, but without spellcasting ability, just about the only thing Scootaloo could do was soar. Granted, she was very, very good at this, and I would say overall she was my most consistent and most damaging party member. But she suffers from the Dragoon's dilemma. Not only are my other party members attacking more frequently, but I'm also putting more damage on them, my front row meleeer and my only mage, by being up in the air so long. In fights like Zardragon, where jumping was not as effective a strategy, I really scrambled to find a proper use for her. Luckily, those instances were few and far between. This brings us to Best Pony. Yes, I said Best Pony. Never mind the fact that she has the lowest magic power of all unicorns. Never mind that while the alicorns have lower magic power than her, they have far greater versatility through their equipment and other commands. Never mind that the draw command still remains the most underwhelming ability in the game. Never mind that her few unique equip options do little to incentivize her above any other magic user. Sweetie Belle is the cutest. Seriously. Just look at her. While she may be underwhelming from a design standpoint, Sweetie Belle was still instrumental to my team's success. She had a slow start, as you would expect of Realm. She was stuck dual-wielding rods through the IAF fight, and we saw how painful the Phoenix Cave was, even with Ice 2. Once she got spells like Fire 3 and Flare, as well as the big crown thingy, her damage potential really opened up. Again, that's nothing new from vanilla, but since she doesn't have a useful command ability to fall back on, her spellcasting abilities were tantamount. Regardless of damage output, Sweetie's biggest usage was in her utility. She could cure statuses, apply buffs and debuffs, and had powerful spells like Life 3 and Quick, the likes of which neither AB nor Scoots could come close. This was a blessing and a curse. Sweetie's magic was single-hoofedly what saved the day in a number of fights, but on the flip side, several later boss battles felt as if they were designed with a two-caster party in mind. With only one Unicorn Filly in the party, we were getting substantial mileage out of her big crown thing in order to double her throughput. Still, for most of the game, this was more than sufficient. Probably what I enjoyed most was that different bosses were slated toward different characters. Doomgaze was the perfect example of this. Apple Bloom's damage plummeted, presumably due to Doomgaze's nice defense. However, Sweetie's damage skyrocketed in turn, in part to hitting an elemental weakness. Adapting on the fly, I switched my strategy, allowing Apple Bloom to die while having Sweetie maximize her nuking. Each of the Fillies got an opportunity to shine in this challenge, so it was nice that no pony ended up stealing the spotlight, nor playing second fiddle. That's nice from a thematic standpoint, sure, but I also like it when my games encourage me to make use of as many different elements as possible. After all, if some elements are pointless, why are they in the game to begin with? Overall, this was a very fun playthrough. Between the pony slant of the mod, the great flavor of the characters I chose, and the challenge elements of restricting myself to just 3 characters total, there was a lot here that I enjoyed. Hopefully, you enjoyed watching it too. So, what's next for this channel? Absolutely no idea. Maybe I could get into dramatic readings of fanfiction? I've always played around with that idea, but I'd probably need to work a bit on my character voices, plus get a better microphone. There's a lot of these analysis and review channels that have been popping up recently, and certainly I can hold my own in these types of discussions, but with how many channels there are, I'm not sure that I have much to say that hasn't already been said. At least not enough to devote a full channel to it. I could always do more Let's Plays, of course. Maybe something pony. Maybe something not. I could always sing. Yes, please! Pav will sing? That's great! Swell! Yay! Dunno. Leave a comment, tell me what you think. I'll be racking my brain in the meantime, in between time. I look forward to seeing you in whatever project I pick up next. But until next time, this is Pav Fiera, signing off.